If you're watching this video, chances are you've injected a cheat at some point. We all know how cheats work on a surface level, but how do they actually work internally? How much access do they have to your PC? And should you be careful or skeptical, especially when dealing with smaller or newer cheats? So what does a cheat actually do when you run it? Well, let's start with the loader itself. Every cheat has a loader that you download, and that file is basically what connects you to the cheat. The loader first analyzes your PC to make sure it's not being cracked, and that it'll actually work and is compatible with your Windows version or hardware, and checks if you pass the authentication checks, and checks to see if you have an active sub. If you pass all of that, then it loads the cheat, and then the cheat is streamed and executed. Some loaders won't check your Windows version, so you'll either get a blue screen of death or it'll just break and you'll be left wondering why it didn't work. Usually there's no code on the actual loader unless the devs are brain dead. Otherwise, the cheat could be cracked even if you don't have an active sub. Some cheats like Aimware or Neverlose will also check to see if Steam is running and kill it if it is, while some cheats like GameSense or Fatality don't care and even require you to have Steam and CS open. After the cheat is finally running, you can start up the game and closet cheat or play HVH or whatever you're into and have a good time. Nothing seems off. Nothing weird popped up asking for your credit card details, so you assume that the cheat is a safe and working product. But is it? If you assume that all a cheat does is just read or modify game memory, then you're in for a big surprise. By running the cheat, you've basically given the cheat full access to your entire computer, and there are no limits to what it can do on your computer without you knowing, because you're told to disable Windows Defender and every other security feature that's meant to protect you, since you can't use the cheat otherwise. Windows Defender automatically deletes loaders for a reason, and whenever you start a cheat, you might get a big red pop-up warning like this. This is why a lot of cheats require you to disable Windows Defender, because whether the cheat is malicious or not doesn't matter. Windows Defender doesn't know that you're injecting a cheat that will connect to some server to modify a game. All it sees is that some sort of Trojan-like program is attempting to gain administrator access, to the point where serious damage could be done if left unchecked. Windows Defender flags patterns that both cheats and malware use, such as scanning processes, maybe installing low-level keyboard hooks like keyloggers, or having the ability to make network requests, which is also how malware communicates. All while the code is virtualized and obfuscated, and the process hasn't been audited or signed like other legitimate software. The average noob cheater might get hesitant after being told that their PC could be at risk, so maybe they'll run the file through VirusTotal and then see that VirusTotal says that it's indeed malicious and a Trojan, not realizing that, yes, every cheat will show up as harmful just by the nature of how cheats work. The less skeptical noob cheaters will just blindly assume that every cheat is safe and that everything is a false positive because that's what the cheat said. As long as the cheat works, they figure everything's fine and dandy. But what happens when a cheat is actually harmful? You've probably seen those sketchy YouTube videos or posts titled things like "Free CS2 Cheat" or "Cracked Cheat Download." In the description, there's always a link where you can download it. 99% of the time, it's a rat, and if you run it, you're definitely an idiot. Do not ever trust those free cheat links posted by some random AI bot YouTuber who is just trying to infect your PC to steal your info or potentially for ransomware. Now, I'm not saying every cracked cheat is a rat, but the majority are, so I wouldn't trust any of them unless it's from someone reputable. If you've used a malicious cheat or rat, the only way to get rid of it is to format your PC entirely and reinstall Windows using a USB. Just deleting the cheat file won't help, and neither will restarting your computer if it's hidden a rootkit in your computer that auto starts up every time you reboot your PC. You'll need to fully reset your PC and delete all files to make sure it gets removed. If that sounds like a hassle, that's because it is, so avoid putting yourself in that position in the first place. If you want to avoid this, then stop running cracked software and don't run any free cheats unless you've compiled them yourself and analyzed the source code. By the way, when I say cracked software, I'm not just talking about cheats. Now, If you're thinking that only random links or cracks would do something malicious, then you'd be wrong. After all, why would a cheat that already makes money risk their business and destroy their reputation if it got out that it was harmful? Typically, you'd be right, but there's been many cases of very popular cheats doing some pretty shady stuff. It's not surprising when you consider that most cheats are owned by teenagers with edgy names like Millionware, who don't fully understand the importance of having a stable and reputable business, and building something sustainable that could provide passive income for years. Instead, they'd burn it all down for clout or because they got mad at a user or just out of boredom. Some cheat coders don't realize how rare it is to have an easy stream of income in today's economy, and they throw it away for nothing, just out of impulse or ego. So even if a cheat has thousands of users, it doesn't mean much because most staff tend to be or act like immature children. Years ago, OneTap, which used to be the biggest cheat in CSGO, was actually caught spying on users and doing God knows what else. So even if a cheat has thousands of users, it doesn't mean the staff aren't above doing anything malicious. Keep in mind that cheats can even have different builds for different users without anyone knowing about it. So while the majority of users will have the default normal build that's relatively safe, the admins of the cheat can still target specific users and give them a different build, where they'll receive special attention, to say the least. This was usually done on people who were more known or controversial in the community, like YouTubers or rival cheat coders, or maybe one of the staff members just had drama with someone or wanted to spy on an e-girl's nudes. Sometimes the loader is coded by a completely different person than the guy who owns the website or codes the cheat, and he could be stealing data without the other admins even knowing it, which has happened before. Even the admins themselves might not know that they're selling a malicious project without full transparency and access to the source code. For most people, you're most likely safe and don't ever have to worry about this, but it's something to consider. So let's say an admin of a cheat wanted to spy on a user. How would that work? Well, first, it would depend on what sort of malicious features they coded support for. It could take screenshots of your computer, which many do on injection, maybe access webcam and microphone feed if they're really malicious, or steal browser data, which includes passwords, search history, autofill information, credit card information, crypto wallets, Discord tokens, Steam account data, and much more. They could hide malware, so even after restarting your PC, they can still spy on you without the cheat being open. Some cheats claim that they only take screenshots and log personal data when someone is trying to crack their cheat, and their anti-crack protection kicks in. And sure, that almost sounds believable until you realize that if someone is capable of cracking a cheat to begin with, they would already be aware of all of this, and would never run the cheat on their actual computer, but rather inside a virtual machine that doesn't have Discord installed or anything personal saved in the browser. Most cheats do check for virtual machines and have anti-VM and anti-debugging checks before the cheat is streamed over the network. But skilled crackers will spoof the environment so it looks legitimate and not like a virtual machine. Even if a cheat is safe and the developers have no malicious intent, if you download a Lua script for a cheat like GameSense or Aimware, you should be careful, especially if the Lua is obfuscated for security reasons. Back in CSGO, multiple popular Luas were actually collecting more information than the cheat ever did. Some would take screenshots, others would steal your Discord token, which basically allows them to log into your Discord account whenever they want, without needing your password. Even if you have two-factor authentication, it doesn't matter. Basically, a lot of Luas were doing what the cheat had the potential to do, but never did. This is why cheats require you to click the Allow Insecure Luas option, where any limits are turned off. That option is not there just for fun. It's important, and you should always think twice before running some random Lua. Most of CSGO's semi-rage Luas connected to their website, where they'd get your IP and who knows what else. Any cheat or Lua collecting Discord tokens is definitely malicious. And any excuse that it's for security is obviously cap and just an excuse to creep on you. Even without Luas, some cheats even parse Discord IDs to connect your forum account, and the easiest way to do that is parse your Discord token. So in other words, cheats that parse your Discord ID probably also have your token. So what do cheats actually log when you run it? Most cheats will generate a hardware ID, which is basically just a combination of serial numbers. Maybe your motherboard serial number and disk serial number hashed together. Every cheat does it differently depending on the user. They also usually log your Steam accounts and username. The given reason behind this is because they want to keep track in case someone sells or shares their account. So, for example, with Skeet, every account you've ever used or logged into is documented and logged. Any Steam username you've ever had while injecting is logged. Every IP you've ever had is also logged. They go through great lengths to prevent account selling. Cheats should be more transparent about what they collect and for what purpose. While some cheats do have a privacy policy about what they collect, most don't. Most cheats don't have any privacy policy and don't disclose anywhere about what data they collect, even though it's legally required. And of course, if you ask the developers, they probably wouldn't tell you and would give you some brain rot reply, since most cheats unfortunately aren't professional at all. Always remember that whenever you run a cheat, no matter how popular it is, you're essentially signing an invisible contract that you can't read, and that it potentially accesses your PC and collects data and you don't know what it is, or it could be completely safe. You simply have no way to tell, which is why your best bet is running popular pay cheats, or even cheats that have been cracked and analyzed before and no malware was found in them. It's better to be safe than sorry. I highly recommend that if you ever decide to quit cheating completely, to reset your PC and start fresh.